Hello and welcome, everybody. This is Randy Replay, and we are back with Brooklyn Beats Football. Everybody here at the SSN Sports Network was sick for a couple weeks. We were battling the flu, influenza, and a sore throat, so we could not do any videos, but we are back. Smeagol, of course, challenging his foray into the PGA Tour. He was not seen in this game because of it, and he played the final round. I'm not going to spoil anything, but we will have that upload here within the next couple of days. So he was not on the field or on the sidelines for this game. He got the approval from the coach. Whatever. This is week 4 of the preseason. Next week, we take on the Seattle Seahawks in the first week of the regular season. But Randy's going to go over everything. Preseason. Oh, I almost said Vikings. Preseason beats football. Yes. For those of you that are just joining this series, the Minnesota Vikings have moved to Brooklyn here in the 2018-2019 season, and we're going to get you ready for the regular season with everything week 4. As far as the practice squad goes, this is what it looks like. Trey Bowen, drafted last season. I do believe that is Eric Simpkins. Picked him up. I'm not sure why. We're going to take a look, actually. Okay, because of his speed. Basically, because of his speed, he has good catching, good acceleration, good catch in traffic. He is a rookie out of Iowa State. He's 6'6", 222 pounds with that great speed. So it is Eugene, not Eric. So if a couple of wide receivers go down, we have that as well. And then Watts Gallery taken in this past season's draft. He's 5'9". He's a rookie from Toledo, 187 and 96 speed. Not as good as catching as Simpkins, but that speed and route running and acceleration are going to be his strong suits. And then we have signed Stephen Bledsoe, another wide receiver with decent speed, great catching, great acceleration, great jumping, and a good spectacular catch. And then, of course, Tyree Spikes drafted. Left tackle, 76 overall, 92 strength, good run block, decent pass block, and very good impact blocking. And then Rashid Spinks, the middle linebacker. Sorry, still dealing with that throat issue I was talking about. And then quarterback Frank Sally. Decent speed, good zone coverage, decent man coverage, and the acceleration and agility are what's going to play there. Henry Lober, strong safety, had a pretty good offseason, and then a pretty decent preseason as well. Quadarius Gilmore makes a return, drafted last year. Good speed, good acceleration, decent zone coverage for his safety, and of course his hit power is up there as well. And then Rashard Huntington, someone who I thought would make the team, made a great pick after Blair Whiting's rushing touchdown of 13 yards, I think, in the third game of the preseason to win it. 92 speed, 78 tackle. He has very good speed and hit power and tackle, acceleration up there as well. He had a very good preseason. I'm not sure why they put him on the practice squad, but he is there regardless. Now we're going to take a look at the injury report, something we find ourselves doing every week, and it's Kenny Erickson, who is on there. 2 more weeks. Injured his shoulder, tore his shoulder actually, in the first game of the preseason. He is out for 2 more weeks. And then Jesse Peterson, the final game of the preseason. I want to say the third quarter, but I'm not 100% sure. Excuse me, broke his collarbone. He is out until it would be week 7 because we have not advanced the week. So week 7 he will return. Huge part of this offense in the preseason. We're going to take a look at that as well. And then back here, we are going to take a look at everything Brooklyn Beats football as far as stats go. Oh, wrong button. And we go up, and we go passing. And we're going to take a look by yardage. So this is Blair Whiting, the rookie, or the, 2-year man, 6'6", 231, wears number 18. 768 yards in the preseason. He was 63 for 114. That is 55% completion percentage. For those of you that didn't know how to do math or didn't look right here. 4 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Now, he is kind of a rookie. He had 0 playing experience last season. He comes in here, he plays the preseason. I expect them to keep him because with Kenny Erickson out for a couple more weeks, they just have Smeagol on the roster. So, average yards per game, 256. That is just because they threw him in the last game and he did amazingly. We're going to take a look at his final game of play here in the preseason. Passer rating of 56.7, 371 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Longest pass of 76 yards, though. He was 30 for 50, 60% completion percentage, and 7.4 yards per attempt. So his best game statistically hurt by those 5 interceptions. He was also sacked twice. And, yeah, so his best game statistically hurt by those 5 interceptions. His first pass he threw was a pick. And then we were pushing down the field late. Going for the tie to send it into overtime, and he threw a pick in the end zone of his last game. So, basically, he got the third quarter. No, he got the second half because Smeagol took over the first couple drives, and then he got the whole second half and some of the second quarter. So, yeah, he had a lot of experience here, and I don't expect them to cut him. He's just a backup. Oops, that is not what I wanted to do. Randy's losing it already. Smeagol, 266 yards. He was 23 for 31. That is 74% completion percentage. For those of you that didn't know how to do math or didn't look over here. 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Of course, he was the worst performing quarterback as far as touchdown to interceptions go. But 88 yards per game, 99.6 passer rating, and average yards per attempt 8.6. He was sacked twice with the longest pass of 24. Kenny Erickson, 101 yards, 9 for 13, 1 touchdown, 0 picks, 69% completion percentage in his one game of play. Got injured and left for the rest of the preseason. Longest pass of 30. Rushing. This is where we get into some crazy numbers. Justin Vanderschaff has taken over this team last season, but 32 carries, 291 yards, and 5 touchdowns. We're going to go into his stats for each game, and you're going to see just how big of a factor he was. The first game, he did not get the start. 5 for 18. He just got the first couple drives. You know, it's first game of the preseason. You don't want to overwork your guy. Second game of the preseason, though. 17 carries, 214 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And that longest run of 75, longest of the preseason, I do believe, for this team. And then the third game, 10 for 59. They dialed him back a little bit, getting him ready for the regular season, but he still got 2 rushing touchdowns. What can't this guy do? So coming over from corner 2 years ago, 2 years ago, and in 2016-2017 season, 240 carries, 1,599 rushing yards, 20 touchdowns, averaging almost 100 yards per game, just underneath, 29 broken tackles, 5 fumbles. It's going to happen when you're running him 25 to 30 times a game, longest run of 76. And then his first year at running back, 32 carries, 291 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, 4 broken tackles, and 75 of the longest run. So he is very productive as he goes along. Of course, 2018, his first season in the position. Oh, no, that's for the preseason. Never mind. So 2017, his first year in the position, he set a high bar. But he is going to get the start in the rotation. He's going to be the first man up. I would say starter, but we don't really have a depth chart. We go on a solid rotation, so he's going to have that first spot. A couple trade offers came in, but we ignored them all. So now we're going to fire through these quick. Sam Gable, 34 carries, 163 yards, no touchdowns. Travis Parker, 21 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Daniel Henricks, who was also in the second spot in the rotation, so he gets the less carries, 18 for 55. Blair Whiting, 11 for 39, and a game-winning touchdown run. Wow. So his longest run, okay, so it wasn't 13, it was 11 yards. Smith, 5 carries, 37 yards, and a touchdown. And then Kenny Erickson, 2 for 24 and a touchdown as well. And Luis Gonzalez played in a weird I formation out of the fullback spot. He gets 1 carry, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. 100%. That's awesome. So now we're going to go to receiving, where Anthony Bisbee has taken over this team in the preseason as far as catches go. 18 catches, 193 yards, and a touchdown. Cameron Quick, 15 catches, 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. Luis Gonzalez, 14 for 189, no touchdowns. Jesse Peterson was such a big part, as I alluded to earlier. Still struggling with this cough and sore throat. 10 catches, 116 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Lou Wang, 8 for 76. Darian Wilson, 8 for 116. Luke Suzuki, 6 for 37. Travis Lee, 6 for 79. Sam Gable out of the backfield, 4 for 38. Justin Vanderschaff out of the backfield, 4 for 54. Blake Letelier, 3 for 37. Josh Gable, 2 for 34. Travis Parker, 2 for 21. Nobody cares about blocking, so we're going to go to defense and look at total tackles. And it's Robert Nichols running away with the lead of total tackles here in the preseason with 25. Zachary Anderson follows closely with 24. Danny Pickering with 20. Justin Lewis with 16. Paul Fritchie with 15. Josiah Russell and Dan Nothey each split 11. Thaddeus Roseau and Matthew Arnsdorf. Ryan Beeler and Xavier Rhodes with 10. Scott Rethwell, Jawan Winters, the rookie, with 9. Jeremy Lindsey, Jacob Pickering, Leo Neal with 8. Josh Fitzer, Richard Salthy with 6. Otis McMiller, Thomas Cross, Terrell Oliver with 5. Aaron Nelson, Chimokwa, and Drew Ward with 3. Kevin Stark, Xavier Howard with 2. And Tevin Fair with 1. Oh my goodness. Tackles for loss, Leo Neal led with 3. Danny Pickering and Thaddeus Rosa with 2. Zachary Anderson, Justin Lewis, Paul Fritchie, Josiah Russell, Scott Rethwell, Jeremy Lindsey, Josh Fitzer, Otis McMiller, Thomas Cross, and Kevin Stark each with 1. Sacks, there were a ton of them in the preseason. Jeremy Lindsey led with 2.5. Danny Pickering with 2. Josiah Russell with 2. Scott Rethwell with 1.5. Justin Lewis with 1. Thomas Cross, Dan Nothey, Ryan Beelo, Aaron Nelson also added 1. And then the splits. Josh Fitzer and Terrell Oliver split 1. 1 interception in the 4 games of the preseason by Robert Nichols. Pass deflections, there were a ton. Robert Nichols had 3. Danny Pickering had 2. Zachary Anderson, Paul Fritchie, hey, they also added 2. Dan Nothey, Aaron Nelson, Thaddeus Roseau, and Matthew Arnsdorf each added 1. Forced fumbles, we had a couple. Danny Pickering and Ryan Beelo each with a forced fumble, and we had 1 recovered by Dan Nothey, who ran it 62 yards for a defensive touchdown. Block kicks, there was 1 by Robert Nichols. No safeties for your preseason, and only 1 defensive touchdown by Dan Nothey. So the defensive player of the preseason, I'm going to give it to Robert Nichols. He had the most tackles, he had the interception, and he had the 3 pass deflections and a block kick. So he will get the MVP of the preseason. Congratulations. Now as we go on to kicking, Brandon Baker, he was 5 for 5, 100%, longest of 50, and 5 for 5 on extra points. As you can see here, 100% from 49 or more. Well, 100% for everything. 19 kickoffs, 12 of those for touchbacks. Now we're going to go to punting. Taylor Pauline had 9 punts, 436 yards, netting 412. 2 of them landed within the 20, and only 1 was a touchback. Longest punt of 55. Kick returns, spread them out evenly. Jesse Peterson had 2 for 51, Zachary Anderson 2 for 49, and Luke Silzewski 2 for 48. So everybody's staying within that 45 to 50 range. save Jesse Peterson, who was such a big part of the offense, I keep saying, but it is true. Second longest run back for 30 yards. So he will definitely be missed these first 6 games of the regular season. Zachary Anderson, 3 for 31 on punt returns. Robert Nichols, 2 for 30. And Luke Slizewski, 1 for 13. Trying to preserve the starters here with Jesse Peterson out. That's going to shake up the depth chart. And we're going to have to see what shakes loose with all of that. So those are your stats through the first 4 games. Well, the only 4 games of the preseason. We are first in the NFL in offensive yards and 26th in defensive yards. So the defense playing better this preseason. Hopefully that will carry over into the regular season. I'm losing it here already. So we're going to advance the week. It must have been that bad soda I had. We're going to go ahead and advance the week and preview week 1 of the 2018-2019 Brooklyn Beats season. So used to saying Minnesota Vikings, but okay, so the doctors have cleared Kenny Erickson to play. Of course, he will be out for a couple more weeks. We don't want to risk re-injury, so we will start Smeagol week 1. That's shoulder. And we have trade offers for Xavier and Howard. We're going to take a look at that really quickly because we can go into the season with 4. And then, if need be, we can pull somebody up. So here we go. So a 5 and 6 this year, and a second-round pick next year. We're looking for something. 2 picks this year. Okay, so round 2 and round 6, but they are the competition. We will not take that. Okay, so a round 4 this season. So nothing really standing out to good old Randy here. I'd say the Steelers have the best. Well, actually Tennessee would have the best because it's a round 2 next season, a round 5 this season, and a round 6. And the Steelers are offering round 2, round 5, and 7, 5 being this season. So we're going to take a look. Nothing really standing out. I'll tell you what, Pittsburgh. Okay, we can't change it. I was going to say, if you give us a round 2 next season, and instead of the 2027 round, you give us a 6th round this season, I would have taken that, but we cannot change the offer. So we're going to leave Xavier Howard on the roster. So we're going to take a look at the injury reports for both teams. After advancing the week, Kenny Erickson with a shoulder tear, he comes back next week. Jesse Peterson with a broken collarbone, like we alluded to earlier, out 6 more weeks. And we're going to go to the, I passed them, the Seahawks. And they just have Terry Poole, left tackle, dislocated ankle. He's out for 3 more weeks. So we will not do that before the game next season. So here we go. Everybody starts anew. The first 4 weeks of the season, we are at home against the Seahawks and Lions to begin the season. Then we go to Chicago and Miami to play the Dolphins. We're going to preview the schedule, actually. And then we will take a look and see what shakes loose with all of that. So week 1, we are at home against the Seahawks. Week 2, we take on the Lions. Week 3, we go to Chicago in a 4-game away stand. We go to Miami, we go to Detroit, and then we go to Dallas. We are at home against the Patriots and Panthers, and then we go to New York to play the Jets. We have a bye week in week 10, and then a week 11, home against the Packers and home against the 49ers. We are at the Rams, at the Packers, home against the Bills, home against the Bears, then we end the season in Arizona. So that is your preseason review and regular season preview. This has been Randy Replay. I'll see you later.